Hello and welcome once again to Electric Avenue's YouTube updates. Thanks for joining me for another edition. And we're doing new releases for May 9th, 2025. I have so much stuff to show you this week, guys. I feel like the vacuum of Record Store Day, the sort of black hole that sucks everything in around it, is finally sort of closing. It's been about a month since it happened. A very successful day, and very excited about that. So we're going to get on to new stuff this week. I have so much to show you, so I'm just going to jump right in. Apologies if this video is a little long because there are so many things. I usually start with the big things first, so I will show this first. Grateful Dead, live at the Cow Palace, New Year's Eve, 1976. This is not cheap. A 5-record set, about 240, 250, somewhere in that range. Yeah, it's a lot of Grateful Dead. Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve concert. Does finish up with one more Saturday night, Uncle John's Band, and We Bid You Good Night. Features Jerry, Donna Jean, Keith, Mickey Hart, Bill, Phil Lesh, and Bob Weir. So, classic concert. One for the record books. They had so many concerts, and good for them. They recorded so many of them too, which gives you the ability to hear them still decades later. Probably the biggest sort of archival release of the week, really. Eric Clapton's Unplugged. This is the what they call the enhanced edition. This is the best-selling live album of all time, if you didn't know that. Includes never before heard commentary from Clapton discussing the songs, and there's also some songs that were added to this that had been cut from the original recording. It does feature My Father's Eyes, Take One, which I think was on the album that came out after this, maybe. Was it Pilgrim or something? Anyway, but it also does feature Tears in Heaven, and a version of Layla that was extremely popular, acoustic as well. This was played so much back in the day when MTV was reigning, and they really promoted that record. So, and it's available on a CD as well. 3-record set runs about in the $60 range. Also, another thing I've been waiting for, the Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow. This is the complete edition. I say complete, it's still missing a couple of songs. I don't know if you remember, but back in January when the album came out, they put out sort of a taster version of the album that featured some songs from this, 9 songs, and then 2 songs that weren't on the album as kind of like bonus things. And now we get the actual official record. It's 22 songs. It does run about $50. So, you know, the Weeknd is never cheap, thanks to his record label, Universal, being sort of money grubbing. And, oh, look, it says made in Mexico, too, which is who knows what the tariff situation is there. But I would say, you know, for some reason, Universal's records always cost more. It's like they know that people want their stuff, so they're going to charge you more. Great. Anyway, a couple of things also that came out last week that we sort of got late, and so they didn't make the last video, but Gentle Giant live. This is the official live Gentle Giant. And what this is also a 3-record set. The iconic 1977 live album, now fully reimagined, mixed, and mastered for an immersive experience. This definitive triple album delivers the ultimate Gentle Giant live performance as it was originally intended, complete with restored in-between song commentary, band intros, and the authentic ambience of each venue. It includes the full original set list, 3 unreleased tracks, interview, timing, and Ray Shulman's solo violin feature. So, Gentle Giant fans, prog fans, if you're into bands like Genesis or, stuff from that era, the early stuff, you might be interested in that. Also, we did receive Suzanne Vega's new record on vinyl, opaque white vinyl. This is the album Flying with Angels. It's her first in 11 years. Features, starts with the song Speaker's Corner, features Chambermaid, which is kind of a lift of a Bob Dylan song told from the perspective of the chambermaid instead. Also, Lucinda is on here, her track for Lucinda Williams. Last Train from Mariupol, which is obviously sort of a Ukrainian kind of a mournful type of song. Love Thief is very kind of R&B almost, and Rats is like funk folk kind of song, or a punky folk song. Really, it's more like the Violent Femmes or something, and it's political. It's an interesting record. So she came back with something that was a little different than what people are sort of used to, but with all the time passing, check it out though. I like it. All right, new record, Even in Arcadia. This is the new Sleep Token record. Their last album was a real breakthrough hit a couple of years ago. If you're into metal and hard rock and I don't know, you like bands like Ghost, and probably I would check out Sleep Token, Even in Arcadia, because, well, I don't know. I mean, they're not as heavy as some of the other bands, but still, they got a big fan base going. This looks like a really interesting compilation record that you don't really see collections of artists that are this good, but Heart of Gold, The Songs of Neil Young, Volume 1. And this features Brandi Carlile, Fiona Apple, Mumford & Sons, Eddie Vedder, Courtney Barnett, Stephen Marley, Sharon Van Etten, The Lumineers, the Doobie Brothers with Allison Russell, Steve Earle, Rodney Crowell, and Chris Pierce. Worth it for Fiona Apple doing Heart of Gold alone. And of course the Brandi Carlile doing Philadelphia. Eddie Vedder does Needle and the Damage Done. So really cool compilation there. Might want to check that out. All right, new album from the band Arcade Fire, and it's their album Pink Elephant. It's been 3 years since their last record. They've endured a lot of controversy since then, swirling around their lead singer, and so it was very difficult to know how many of a record like this to order, because you know that there are Arcade Fire fans out there, but how many of them are going to stick behind the band after what's gone on? So if you don't know, you can look that up on the internet and figure that out, but it's sort of a controversial band at this point, and I don't know, maybe they should have even waited a couple more years, but maybe their answer was, nobody was criminally indicted for anything, so just go ahead and move forward. Yeah. And what can you do? Anyway, the music business can be a tricky business sometime. Head in the Heart and their new album, another musical collective like Arcade Fire, although I think they're from like Norway, Sweden, something like that. Aperture, indie retail exclusive clear lens vinyl, and this is a new album from them on Verve Forecast. So I think that's a new label for them too. But great sort of folk Americana type band for a band coming out of the northern part of Europe. Really excited to hear this record. Heard one track and was like, wow, this is also really good. Mark Pritchard and Tom York. Yes, Tom York of Radiohead and The Smile. And this is their new record, Tall Tales. And there's also a film sort of associated with this. This is the 2LP, the standard edition. There is some kind of a deluxe edition too, but trying to give people stuff that they can afford. So anyway, Tall Tales, new album from Tom York and Mark Pritchard. I would say Tom York definitely has his set of fans, people who will check that out. All right, and another thing I'm really interested in hearing, Royop and their new album True Electric. Royop are probably, if not my favorite, one of my favorite electronic duo DJs from Norway. Now, they're not necessarily just DJs; they're also musicians, but they program a lot of keyboards, play keyboards. As you see, they don't have just turntables in front of them; they have keyboards, and they've worked a lot with some real famous, currently famous names in the sort of European electronic music scene. Robin, Karen Dreyer from The Knife and Fever Ray, and Suzanne Sunfer, who has a track on here called Never Ever that was only a single, never on an album, and it's here, it's in remixed form, but at least it's here, it's a great song. So there's a lot of really good songs on here. They kind of took a break of like 8 years in the mid 2010s, and then said that they weren't going to do anything again. Then they came back with a triple album a couple years ago, Profound Mysteries, and they released each part in sort of like succession. And then this is a triple vinyl remix album featuring songs from their whole career, not so much from their very early, but maybe from their third or fourth album onward. And yeah, it's a great collection for 3 LPs, not bad, under $50. And I love their stuff. So can't wait to hear that. All right, let's see. Callie Uch and her new album, Sincerely. Callie is a very attractive young woman. I think she's from the DC area, from what I've heard. But she's got Colombian heritage. That picture's a little racy. As she usually is. I saw her open for Lana Del Rey a few years ago. Very good, sort of a Latina version of like Sade or something like that. A little more on the sensual side, but yeah. So new Callie, she's kind of popular with a lot of the kids. So the kids, you know who you are, kids. You're not watching this. Counting Crows, Butter Miracle. Okay. The Complete Suites. And yeah, new Counting Crows material. Some of it I think might have been out a little bit before, but this is a mix by Chad Blake. You've got Sweet Tooth and Sweet One. Chad Blake is a great mixer and producer. Features songs like Spaceman and Tulsa, With Love from A to Z, Virginia Through the Rain, Bobby and the Rat Kings. So anyway, new Counting Crows material. New album from British band The Kooks, and they have a new deal in America too. This is their album Never Know. And yeah, you know, I think they kind of had like a sort of a initial burst of interest when they came out, and then they've been sort of, you know, up and down a little bit, but hopefully this one does well for them. Never Know by The Kooks. You never know. Preoccupations, now shortening their name to Preox, and this is their new album Ill at Ease. Again, I think a band that sort of had that sort of initial interest, but they also, I think this is a new record label for them. This is on Blue Cloudy vinyl, called it's the Born Losers Blue Cloudy vinyl. 8 tracks. They usually have about that many songs on the records. Sort of Interpol-esque a little bit, Joy Division, that kind of dark brooding, more gothy kind of sound. I don't know anything about this artist other than he's on Dual Tone Records, Jack Van Cleef, and this is his new album, JVC, featuring the song Rattlesnake, a duet with Zach Bryan, of all people. So you're no slouch if you can get Zach Bryan to be on your label and or on your record. It has a song called Remember Katrina. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. Teenage Vampire, Couch Potato, Shouldn't Have Gone to LA. Interesting song titles. Dual Tone is an Americana label, so it's probably sort of in that vein. Also, I'm With Her and their new album, Wild and Clear and Blue. This is featuring Sarah Jarosz, Sarah Watkins, and Aoife O'Donovan, all folk singers and songwriters in their own right. This is sort of like the folk version of Boy Genius. So if you like that, if you like the harmonizing of the women and all, you might want to check this out because they're all quite good in their own regards. Sarah plays violin mostly, and the others guitar. All right, and Leftover Salmon. There's a lot of new records this week. It's been a long time for them too. Maybe 10 years? I don't know if it's been that long. It says celebrate 35 years of a Leftover Salmon on yellow and purple swirl vinyl. Yeah, this is sort of kind of jam bandy music. It is jam bandy music, but sort of Americana to folk. Drew Emmett plays mandolin, octave mandolin, so you get the picture there of the sound. Special guests include Sam Bush and Del McCoury, so no slouches in Americana music there as well. Interested in that. And also Little Feat and their first new album in, it's been like another at least 5 years. I don't know exactly how long. Strike Up the Band. Maybe I think I read it was like 10 or 11 years. This is produced by Vance Powell and Bill Payne. Double album, first in a long time, and features the song Bluegrass Pines featuring Molly Tuttle, who's also sort of a brand new kind of, newer Americana star. So anyway, new Little Feat in 2025. Like we got Little Feat, we got Leftover Salmon, we got Suzanne Vega, we got Counting Crows. We're talking career artists here, people. So, and some who haven't had records in a while. A couple of jazz reissues this week. Ben Webster and Associates. This is on Acoustic Sounds, Verve Acoustic Sounds, pressed at Quality QRP, who does really great work. And this is from 1959, reissue here. These reissues sound amazing. And it features Ben Webster, obviously, Coleman Hawkins, Roy Eldridge, Joe Jones, and Ray Brown for some of the big names on there. So it's very cool that they do that. They've done a lot of Ben Webster at Acoustic Sounds recently. And also Art Pepper, An Afternoon in Norway, the Kongsberg concert. We've been getting a lot of Norwegian Kongsberg stuff from Bill Evans recently, and now we're getting Art Pepper. This is on that Elemental Records that Zev Feldman kind of is in charge of. But and it features Carl Burnett on drums, not Carol Burnett, Carl Burnett. But anyways, nine pretty long Art Pepper songs. Everyone is generally from 10 to 15 minutes long, so it's a double album. But yeah, that's pretty cool too. Surprising that wasn't on Record Store Day, but I think there's a lot of stuff on Record Store Day usually that's sort of Art Pepper or Elemental music, so they got to start releasing it other times, or they're just they're gonna run out of space. All right, speaking of running out of space, let's get on to more reissues. You guys, there's so much stuff this week. INXS, Listen Like Thieves. This is the 40th anniversary edition. Comes as a gatefold record of all things, and celebrating 40 years of this classic album with a new mix by Giles Martin and Paul Hicks. Includes the hits What You Need, which was a big #1 hit in the US and one of my favorite songs of theirs. Listen Like Thieves, Kiss the Dirt, and many more. So this is the album that pretty much springboarded them to the next album, which was Kick, which was a massive hit. I saw them on this tour. I only saw Michael Hutchence once, but I still say to this day, out of the 500 concerts that I've seen or more, he's still top 5 front men I ever saw. Just really knew how to get the audience involved, and was just so kind of charming in his own way on stage. So this is a great album. They broke through with Shabu Shuba. The Swing was a bigger hit in other parts of the world than it was in the US, and that's probably my favorite INXS album. And then this one followed it. So this is kind of the... And those are the three big ones. They had, of course, the two earlier ones, like Underneath the Colors and whatever. So I don't want to sound like I don't know anything about INXS, but the earlier ones are probably less well known. So this is kind of the third of semi-official, the one that most people remember. All right. Now I'm yammering, and it's going to take forever. This is Muppets, first time on green vinyl with a special message from Kermit. The Green Album is the name of the album, if you didn't understand that. This is like Muppet songs done with famous people. This is actually was released many years ago on CD, and I don't know how many people paid attention. Maybe they'll pay a little more attention now. But it has OK Go doing the Muppet Show theme song. Their new album came out last week. Rainbow Connection with Weezer and Hayley Williams. The Fray doing Mana Mana, Alkaline Trio doing Moving Right Along, My Morning Jacket doing Our World, Amy Lee's Halfway Down the Stairs, Sandra Lerquet's Mr. Bassman. You get other artists like Airborne Toxic Event, Andrew Bird, Matt Nathanson, Rachel Yamagata. So sort of the time, it was probably done, what, like 20 years ago maybe? No, not that long. 2011 on Walt Disney Records. So, all right. Kermit. You get Kermit. Let's see here. Sly and the Family Stone, Sly Lives. And this is a soundtrack to a documentary that just came out, aka The Burden of Black Genius. And this is Sly's signature hits, alternate versions, new edits, and more. A funked up look at genius, says Rolling Stone. Sly's stuff for Record Store Day is always some of the best selling stuff. Alternate mixes of Sing a Simple Song and Trip to Your Heart. Mono single masters of Hot Fun in the Summertime, Everybody is a Star. Family Affair is Questlove's Rhythm King edit. So really interesting. I gotta check that out. I know some people out there that were pretty excited about that. And sort of along those lines, but not really, Andre 3000's Moving Day. So last year, Andre released that triple album of flute music, jazz flute music, after being a hip-hop star for many, many years. Well, this album apparently was recorded before that and then never released. So this was really the first, I'm assuming this was the first all-flute album. But side A is Moving Day. Side B is Day Moving and Tunnels of Egypt. Previously unreleased New Blue Sun track. And that's really all that's on here, are long sort of meditative pieces, I guess, or sort of jazzy. But Andre 3000, Mr. Heya, so doing what he wants to do. There were 3 George Harrison reissues this week. We get George Harrison's 33 1/3, which has that nice embossed cover. These are released on Dark Horse and remastered for vinyl from the original analog stereo master tapes. There is also Dark Horse, which I've always loved that album cover. That's sort of a really great kind of homage to, I don't know, the Beatles in a way, with the capital guy in the middle. And also Extra Texture, which always had this cool cutout. And I'm telling you right now, every time I see this album out in the racks, the cover is always mangled because it's got all these cutouts and people would shove them back in the racks and rip them. So if you buy this record, I know you're going to be smart enough to put it in some kind of a cover so that doesn't happen. But yeah, it's nice that they're making these, because I can't think of too many copies I've seen that haven't been messed up of the original. So, all right, I'm not done. I've got more. All right, let's see. This was just announced yesterday that the singer has He's suffering from like stage 4 cancer. Three Doors Down and Away from the Sun, a new issue of this. What timing? Sort of like how Jill Sobule passed away last week in a house fire. I don't know if I mentioned that here, but I was just so upset because she was such a great artist and kind of just never got her due. And they're actually releasing her album, the first one with I Kissed a Girl. Her song, I Kissed a Girl, is coming out June 6th. And so, you know, the timing of that, it's unfortunate that she wasn't around to see her record get released on vinyl. But so anyway, Three Doors Down, this is one of their most popular albums. When I'm Gone, Away from the Sun, The Road I'm On, Here Without You. Yeah. All right. I like seeing stuff like this too because these guys have a hits collection, but it's been so long ago and the records are kind of, they're not beat, but they're not new. So Air Supply, Greatest Hits, 50th year anniversary celebration, if you can believe that. Brand new collection. Does feature the hits All Out of Love, Making Love Out of Nothing at All, Sweet Dreams, Lost in Love, Every Woman in the World, Even the Nights Are Better, Here I Am, The One That You Love, and Two Less Lonely People in the World, plus about 3 or 4 other songs. So if you're looking for Air Supply, that's a really good version of that to get. Another reissue. This was a record store day. Black Friday, I believe, is Thievery Corporation's Richest Man in Babylon. And this is a great sort of like indie kind of DJ sort of based record. It's old world rhythms, easy listening flourishes, hues of 60s era jazz. You practically need a passport to jump from track to track, says GQ. Really interesting stuff and great singers on there too. Not necessarily big name singers, but that's kind of almost interesting too because then you're not expecting them to sound a certain way or whatever. Tommy Emanuel, the best of Tommy songs, and he's an incredible guitarist and mostly known for his acoustic stuff. But this is a double record, and there's also a CD version of this. Song for Rainy Morning, Angelina, Endless Road, Latrell, Ruby's Eyes, Cowboy's Dream. It's just stuff from his whole career, and he's had a lot of albums. This has actually been released before, and I'm not sure what's different about this. Imaginal Disc by Magdalena Bay, being sort of reissued again. I think that this is a clear vinyl version. The sticker says translucent blue, but they've sort of covered over the back sticker twice, and the description online says it's clear, so I don't know. It's just another version of that. Well, the last one sort of went out of print because it was so popular that they kept pressing it and pressing it, and they're like, oh my gosh, we need to keep this up. We've got to make more. So good for them. They're really good. A few more things here. Fat Lip, and this was a record store day I think a year ago. The Loneliest Punk, and this is his debut solo record. He was in the Far Side. This is yellow vinyl, limited to 300 it says. But there have been other pressings of it, so 300 of this color or whatever, I don't know. White vinyl of The Wonder Years, Burst and Decay, Volume 3. This is not the show, The Wonder Years. This is the sort of punk band, punk pop or whatever. Junebug, Come Out Swinging, Oldest Daughter, songs like that. Another record store day repress from last year, I believe, Bottle Rockets. So if you missed that, this is a 2 LP set, all analog pressing of the 1994 alt country classic mastered for vinyl from the original master tapes by Scott Hull at Masterdisc. Includes an entire side of bonus tracks. Bottle Rockets were kind of popular. It's sort of like, I don't know, more rock than country in a way, but still. Somebody's going to want this, I think. Gigi Allen, And a reissue of Always Was, Is, and Always Should Be, indie exclusive, his 1980 debut on Sunflare vinyl. So pretty rock stuff here. And yeah, features Bored to Death, Beat Beat Beat, One Man Army, Ass Face, Pussy Summit Meeting. Yeah, irreverent. And then this was reissued a couple weeks ago, and then here it came out again, just a different color variant. I think the other one was red vinyl, and this is maybe clear. D. Hout and Nick Cave with Burn in the Ice, and this is a record from the early 80s, 82. D. Hout recorded 7 songs with razor sharp ferocity and concentration. 4 are especially for a young Australian singer who made himself a name in the birthday party, says Larry Mullins of the Stooges, Iggy Pop, and the Swans. Limited 1,500 of this variant. And speaking of variants, I think, was it Ghost that just released 20 variants of their new album? There were people online saying, oh, I bought 7 different colors of this record, but I don't have a record player. How crazy is that? I mean, I guess it's sort of crazy. If you're a fan, I understand it. But this is the problem why they can't make enough records, because they have to have all of these variants. I'm not so sure it's good for the environment, to be quite honest. But I don't know. You can't argue with those people. Who's going to argue with them? Feel the Sound of Harvey Mandel. And he had I think he had a Record Store Day record out this year. But this is a 1974 record. Very sensual cover here. There's Harvey. And I think he's supposed to be sort of a rock, like a blues rock guy. Oh yeah, he was a member of Canned Heat and played with John Mayall. So that kind of stuff. And also John Barry and the Dances with Wolves soundtrack on Music on Vinyls at the Movies series. 35th anniversary edition of 1,000 numbered copies on translucent yellow colored vinyl. 1991 award-winning soundtrack. Kevin Costner was in it. Great music. Very popular soundtrack. So got a few CDs here to show you too. Stuff that maybe I sort of skipped over. The INXS is on CD. They sort of reduced it to it's a 2 CD version, so it's got the album, and then the second disc is B-sides and highlights. There is a sort of one of those box set things where you've got the record and then 3 CDs bonus, and the record sort of top loads, and those packages drive me crazy, and I didn't know how many people would want those. So if you want it, let me know and I'll get you one. Let's see, George Harrison, they reissued a few of his albums on CD, but they did All Things Must Pass again, and now it's on this sort of like digipack trifold thing with the black and white cover back. So, but it is the new mix by Paul Hicks on 2 CDs, the 50th anniversary edition. I was really looking forward to this album this week, and it only came out on CD for some reason here. The vinyl got bumped to May 30th, so 3 more weeks, vinyl fans. But the new Peter Murphy album, and this is called Silver Shade. It's sort of a AI CG cover here, but it's getting really good reviews. And ex lead singer of Bauhaus, well, not ex, but I don't know, may as well be. I mean, they keep scheduling tours and then canceling them and whatever, and he's been having issues. Ironically, this is coming from Metropolis Records in Media, PA. Maybe I should ask the record company, since it's right down the road, like, what's going on? Why is this not coming out on vinyl at the same date? But it does thankfully feature the 12th track, Let the Flowers Grow, which was the single that came out last year that featured, I think last year or the beginning of this year, featured Peter with Boy George, and it is such a wonderful song. Very heart-wrenching if you're missing loved ones who've passed away and stuff. I can't wait for the vinyl. I'll show it when it comes in. So Wang Chung, and a reissue type album here, Clear Light, Dark Matter. And this features hits like Dance Hall Days, Everybody Have Fun Tonight, Let's Go, Don't Let Go, To Live and Die in LA. And then the second disc are all instrumentals and demos. So 2 CD set. The new Maren Morris, which I didn't show the vinyl, but this is her new album, Dreamsicle. She's a country pop singer. She's in that group with Brandi Carlile and Amanda Shires. I can't remember the name. Highwomen, I think. So country singer, another country singer, Blake Shelton, and his new record. He was just on the Hollywood Walk of Fame the other day, giving his wife Gwen Stefani her star on the walk. This is the album for recreational use only. I'll let you figure out what that's about. Produced by Scott Hendricks. Features a duet with Gwen called Hanging On. Also duets with Craig Morgan and John Anderson. So a little more old school country there. Party Next Door and Drake and their new CD, Some Sexy Songs. Yeah, I don't know what people are thinking of this era of Drake, but with Party Next Door, it's kind of a minimal cover. The song titles are, I think they're pressed on the CD cover. And a new Blue Note record, Brandon Woody. He's a jazz artist and features Never Gonna Run Away, Beyond the Reach of Our Lives, Wisdom, Terrace on St. Paul Street. Yeah, new Blue Note recording. Brandon Woody. Kind of looks like a neighborhood in Philly. Let's see. Bob James and Dave Caus, more jazz. An album that they've done together called Just Us. The vinyl comes out in a couple weeks. This is the first album I think they've done together. Bob James is, I mean, neither one of them is young, but Bob is, he's up there. So that's cool that they did something together. And Pieces of a Dream, another sort of old school jazz group. We Got This is the name of their record. Still on the Shanachie label. All right. So I think that's everything I had to show you this week. Look, 37 minutes and I got to open the store. So thanks everyone for joining me again. This has been a blast as usual. And I tried to talk fast without stumbling over my words too much. I'll see you next week with another edition of New Releaseville. And God, there's got to be something in this pile that interests you. I can't imagine. There's not too much. I mean, unless you're into like death metal, there wasn't really much of that. But okay, peace out. Take care. See you next time. Bye.